Okay, so as I said, I brought in, I'm liking everything I'm seeing here now. So I think the overall image has that orange teal push to it. And so what I wanted to do next was just add a little bit more attention to her. So this is a technique that I've done in the past, is where I've isolated a subject. Give me a subject isolation. And what I do here is I add in a power window just on her, okay, and I'll take the offset and I'll push that whole thing towards the goal. So the orange teal, it was the orange that we were after. So you can see we're really quite exaggerated here on her now. And that's okay. What we want to do is maybe just feather that out a little bit more, just so it's on her. There we go. So you're thinking at this point it's a little bit overdone, and you're right. So, but I've got my attention, I've got my eye drawn on her now. Like when you look at this, even though it pushes everything out beyond normals, you can't help but look at her now. You know, it's like, it's obvious. So what I do there is, now that I've got your attention on that eye, your eye on her there, I put in a final finishing node. And here is my little trick, finishing curve, and I'll switch over to vector scope. Let's see, go back over here to vector scope. Now, if you're familiar with scopes, your vector scope is your colors. So this white hazy stuff that we're looking at here, if we can, let's just take that. And so this hazy stuff that we're looking at here, it shows you all of the places, the color of the pixels and where they're concentrated. A general rule is that none of the images in any one direction should pass these boxes. So blue, there's the maximum blue, maximum cyan, maximum green, maximum yellow, maximum red, and maximum magenta. So in order to see it, all of it, all the little extraneous stuff, you can increase it. You can see there's some little streakies out here and different stuff. So you can play with that so you can get to see what you're looking for. So now that I can see everything, what I did was I come down into my saturation and just reel it back in until I get, boom, my reds in the center of that box. Okay, and you see my yellows, a little bit tiny, but little extraneous stuff out there, but there's a big, nice little handle right there of those extraneous yellows that are sitting there. So you can see my reds are in the box, my yellows are in the box. I'm going to let this go because it is a circle, so it should be pretty close. And so with that, boom, now you have your final grade. Now, in my case here, when I look at this, I go, okay, so I can see some hazing around her. So in this node here, when you come in here, I mean, you can obviously play with this a little bit more, maybe feather it a little bit more so that it's a little bit more concentrated on her. And there you go. So this is how I came up with this look. So before is Alt-D, so that's before and after. You can see the blacks are nice in there now. You're starting to get some blacks on the black. You know, it looks black. There is some color to it. It's not gray black. There's a bit of reddish orange glow to that black in there, same as down on her stockings. Everything's looking very, very nice here. It's looking realistic, but it also has an overall grade feel to it. Okay, and so this is the approach I took on that. And as I say, this is a very serial approach, meaning one node after another. So I started with getting all the colors I wanted to work with, maximizing those, managing the curve, make sure that the darks are as dark as possible, and recovering or pushing any highlights I needed. Go in for the mid-tone detail, look for, bring in detail that you want to work with. Then apply your grade. I pulled the shadows into the blues, and I pushed the mid-tones up into the oranges, as well as the highlights. I did my second curve to just correct everything, trying to get everything back in balance, make sure everything's nice and balanced with that curve there. Then I isolated my subject, pushed the offset way up into her so that we could really highlight her. So you can see everybody's got nice skin tones, but she stands out more. And then the finishing is just to bring everything back into scale, all your colors back into saturation scale on your vector scope. So that was the grade. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes to analyze the image, find the right setting for the opening project setting. But then once I had a good starting place, I knew I could get to what I wanted to get to. This was my interpretation of basically what you were asking for, and I'm glad that you liked it, and I hope you learned something from this. And listen, have a nice day, and I look forward to seeing your work in the future. Bye.